Good morning, everybody, and welcome to another SkySwitch webinar. Today, we're going to be talking about how you and your customers' businesses can benefit from personalized branded voiceovers and how to offer voiceover as a service. We're really fortunate today to have one of the leading experts in the whole idea of voiceovers and IVR voicing, messaging, prompts in Donna Renee from Advantage IVR. And as a special bonus, we actually have 3 fellow SkySwitch resellers who have joined us today as panelists. Now, the reason we've asked them to join is we actually want them to share their experience of how they've been able to personalize their messaging and use voiceover as a service to really change the game for them. Our 3 resellers who are joining Donna Renee and I on today's broadcast are Bob Bascom. And by the way, Bob, happy birthday. We understand it's your birthday today. Chip Wolf and Jim Kubasek. I'm Andy Abramson. I'm the Chief Marketing Officer for SkySwitch. And at the controls is our excellent marketing manager, Emily Vasquez. Everybody, good morning. And most of all, good morning, Donna Renee. Now, as a reminder, we have a lot of attendees already tuned in, and more will likely join. We have a recording of this. It's going to be emailed to everyone. And if you have any questions that you want to ask, please type them in the questions widget as part of the GoToWebinar app, and we'll get those questions answered at the end of the webinar. And one last thing, there's prizes today. So if you are interested in the prizes, stick around. All attendees are eligible to schedule a 15-minute consultation with Donna Renee. She's going to provide script analysis about your messages, your prompts, your on-hold music, etc., and also a free COVID-19 related message recording. Not a bad offer right now. And there's one more prize. All attendees are also being entered into a raffle to win an extreme reseller makeover, and that includes a whole new customized on-hold messaging program from Donna Renee and new auto attendant greetings with script help for you. That's a great prize. So with that in mind, welcome to our reseller friends who are with us. We're glad you're here. Happy birthday, Bob. And let's turn it over to Donna Renee. Donna, how are you this morning?
There we go. Good morning, everyone. Can you hear me now?
We certainly can.
Oh, beautiful. First off, I just want to say to everyone, anybody that might be affected by COVID with a family member or within your own team, I know that some people are in the South where they just had the tornadoes. My heart goes out to all of you, and certainly in thoughts and prayers. Anyway, thank you for joining today. We are going to talk about voiceover as a service. And anyway, some of you know me. I've been around for a little bit working with SkySwitch since 2014. Let's just pop right in here. Okay.
Donna, why don't we talk a little bit about this whole thing? You know, obviously businesses can benefit from personalized voiceovers. There's profit potential for the resellers in them selling your services to their customer base, as well as using what you have to offer. So why don't we dive right in and talk about why businesses should record greetings with a professional as opposed to taking the less expensive or cheap route. You've all heard the expression, a professional is expensive, but an amateur costs you a fortune. I think that's so apropos here.
Absolutely, it's totally true. Let me, the whole thing, you just, perfect segue. Why do it? What has been done forever and a day is the phone tech, right? On cutover day, the phone tech's right there, just voices the greetings. We've been migrating a little bit now. How about just the best voice on either the staff or on the client staff? There is definitely a reason why not to. And I have this really cool video made. So give me about 58 seconds and we'll watch this video here. And then we'll move on to talk about it.
Congratulations, you just sold a new phone system. Now what? There's a lot to do before cutover day. And the last thing you want to worry about is who's going to voice the auto attendant. Most times the client doesn't want to, but they expect you to do it for free. That takes time. Plus, you pay your techs top dollar for their technical skills, not spend their time voicing auto attendants. So, hire Advantage IVR. Donna and her team of professional voice actors specialize in voicing auto attendants and creating on-hold messages set to music. These days, the auto attendant can be the first impression of a business. Make it a right one. Advantage IVR has been hired by brands like AAA, Hunter Douglas, Dale Carnegie, and many others to deliver quality and professional auto attendant greetings and on-hold messages that deliver results. Give your clients the professional advantage with a trusted company like Advantage IVR.
So Donna, why don't you talk a little bit about the Advantage IVR Advantage? I couldn't pass up saying that.
I know there's a reason why we talked about that. The main thing why Advantage IVR is different from other providers, because I do have competition out there. I am a mix of professional voice talent. Been doing this since for 20 years. I've been doing it. I have 3 agents. I'm on pay-to-play sites. I've been doing voiceover for a long time, and I know how to bring to life different genres of scripts. But I also spent 20 plus years in corporate America doing commission only sales. I've sold everything from typewriters. Yes, that dates me because people don't even know what a typewriter is anymore, but I sold typewriters. I sold temporary employees. I sold video production services, radio, and of course, on-hold messages, which is how I got my start in this. So when you mix the fact that I know how to function and flow in corporate America, you don't live if commission only if you can't do it. So I take that business savvy combined with knowing how to be a professional voice actor and deliver what producers and directors are looking for in a read. Those two things together are the Advantage IVR advantage. The opportunity that I'm going to bring to you today is, I'm getting ahead of myself. First off, we know, and this keeps changing. You notice that it just, as we evolve and get more and more media in our faces every day, it takes more touches to actually turn something. They're saying now between 27 and 30 touches to get a client. That first touch is ultra important because it sets the stage. It really does. And the phone is a viable, bona fide customer touch point. People neglect it in ad buys all the time. I used to try to work with advertising agencies who would do the media buy, and they'd get the print and the TV and the digital, but they would leave out the phone. I'm like, guys, this is a viable touch point. So at any rate, I want people to set the stage with that caller experience right out of the gates. Well, we're going to listen
So Donna,
to, yeah.
you talk about that. What are some of the challenges that you've seen? Because I know you've taken existing IVRs, scripts, and said, oh my gosh, because when we were talking, you said there's some just horror stories out there, and there's just some absolutely bad delivery of the whole thing.
Yes.
Can you give a few examples of that?
I absolutely will. One of them, actually, one of our guest panelists today, Jim from Phone One, he's the one that brought me this one. I got an email from Jim one day, and he says, literally, OMG, Donna, this is your next client. You won't believe this. And he said, call this number. So I did. And we actually recorded it. It is a auto attendant for an OBGYN clinic, which obviously very necessary service. It was the phone tech that did the voiceover, you could tell. The whole thing was like 1 minute and 38 seconds. At 58 seconds, the script was written to say, if you're a woman in labor, press 0. I can guarantee you, having given birth twice, if you're in labor, you're not waiting 58 seconds to 0 out and say, help. I'm not trying to disparage anyone or point fingers or make fun, or I'm not trying to do that. Just, if you don't know, you don't know. If you haven't sat down to think about it, you just haven't. So that's what we bring to the table. We have sat down to think about it. So we know the right way to craft a script. So what I have here are 3 different greeting examples. The first one done in the phone tech voice or the client's voice, and then the same greeting done as a professional voiceover. Some of these are going to be a little choppy, and it's because I cut out all identifiable portions. I cut out the company name, I cut out last names, so you're going to hear that choppiness. The first one is the development company greeting, and this was, I believe, one of the employees.
Thank you for calling press 1 in HR, press 2 for just in development, press 3 in accounting, or press 4 in accounting.
Okay, so that was the best voice on the staff. And then this is the same greeting recorded by Bill, one of my voice actors within Advantage IVR.
Thank you for calling. Press 1 for development. Press 2 in HR. Press 3 for in accounting. Press 4 in accounting. Thank you again for calling. Have a great day.
I'm sure you could hear that difference, just a little bit different than in the delivery. Now, this is Jim's example. This is the OBGYN example, and everything has been cut out. There's nothing identifiable, but this is the phone tech on cutover day.
Thank you for calling OBGYN, the Office of Doctor. Located at 3400 Building C, Suite 475, Georgia, which is located at the north side of C.
Did you hear how long we had to wait to hear if this is an emergency, call 911? That should have been up at the beginning. So at any rate, just something that they didn't think about. They just didn't know. Now, this is the same greeting in a professional voice.
Thank you for calling OBGYN. If you're in labor or are from a doctor's office, press 0. For all other medical emergencies, hang up and dial 911. For all other callers, let's get you to the right person. To schedule an appointment, press 1. To refill a prescription, press 2. To speak to a nurse, press 3.
The other thing with that one too, and it was just an oversight or maybe just the way, I don't know, but for an OBGYN clinic, trust me, you don't want a male voice on the auto attendant. It doesn't bring a lot of warm, fuzzy comfort for, anyway, just my opinion. And the last one is actually a telecom greeting. This is one of my clients. This is used with permission. All identifying information has been taken out. I have the utmost respect for this man. He is a rock star at what he does, and he is way smarter than me. I can guarantee you that. This was him doing his own greeting.
Thank you for calling. If you know your party's extension, you may dial at any time. Otherwise, please choose from the following options. For sales, press 1. For support, press 2. For accounting, press 3. To check the status of a report request, press 4. For the company directory, press 5. To hear this message again, press the start.
And that probably sounds pretty familiar to most of you. You guys are, all of you are rock stars at what you do. And it takes a lot of brains and way more schooling than what I have. You are focused on your core competency, and you guys do great at it. Me, I have more time. I can focus on these greetings, and I know how to bring that little bit of a difference of polished edge. So I want you to listen to what I was able to do for this company, for their own greeting. I mean, they're out there making sales calls, and people are calling them back, wanting to get new clients. The way that your image is presented on your own auto attendant is going to sell volumes about who you are as a company. He's an amazing guy, but now he has a greeting that sounds like it.
Hi, thank you for calling. Let's get started. Know the extension you need? Dial it now. For support, press 1. Sales, 2. Accounting, 3. For a company directory, press 4. To repeat these options, press the star key.
Andy, were you able to hear the difference in that?
We could, Donna, and I think the big key here is you're really moving into the whole idea that first impression is being made when someone calls your office or your place of business. And as a result, we can tend to misstep or misspeak. And I think that's where you're going.
Exactly. It's kind of always been it's been a necessary evil, kind of, might be the wrong vernacular, but it's something that needed to be done. And it isn't the core competency for you guys. And so it's left until cutover day, and everybody's scrambling. You got to get her done. And so you do what you got to do to get her done. So nobody's faulting anyone, but now I'm here as a resource to be able to put all the attention and time that it needs to actually be that branding tool that it should be and can be, and I have the time to devote to it. So anyway, I don't know, Andy, are you the kind of guy that likes to read the last page of a book before you start it?
Never. That spoils everything. The only thing I look at on the last page is a proposal so I can see the price. But other than that, I never skip ahead.
But you just said you look to the end to see the price. So I kind of figured some of our audience today might kind of be the same. So I'm going to tell you the end of the story before we get there. I've got this great idea for you about auto attendant greetings, about adding a new line item a new item to your line card, creating a new revenue stream. And if you use and this is Andy is brilliant. Andy is a great at marketing. He called it the DSRP, the Donna suggested retail price. And if you do that, it's 150% return on investment. So that's not bad. And for me, I've had this vision, like I said, for 20 years. I feel like I've been pioneering with machete, going out there trying to make this happen, and it's been difficult. It took basically a divine convergence of many things. The industry had to change. We had to get to VoIP. We had to get to UCAS. We had to get all these things, like I said, this divine convergence. And I feel like I'm at the right time, at the right place, right time. So the thing that I want to do first, though, because this opportunity here, there have been a lot of stumbling blocks. I gave the vernacular of pioneering with the machete. I think there are still some stumbling blocks, barriers to entry, I think they call it. So what I want to do first is I want to break these false beliefs and these false connections. You might be saying, what in the world is that? Well, we're going to Gallagher this thing. Anybody remember, this is again dating me, y'all know, now I'm obviously, a little older. Remember Gallagher? Remember him, Andy, doing the Sledge-O-Matic?
It was before my time, Donna.
Somehow I don't think so, Andy. I think we're on the same page. You probably know that starts with Rets and is two mints in one, but nobody else knows that but us in our 50s. Anyway, so Gallaghering this, what I want you to Gallagher, the connection between auto attendant greetings and on-hold messages. They're not the same. As I've been trying to figure out what the barrier to entry was to selling on-hold greetings, what I kind of figured out is that people are combining them as one. And you guys don't want to get into selling on-hold messages. And I don't blame you. It's very labor intensive. There's research that goes into creating the scripts. There's getting the music. There's the mixing. It's a big deal. And there's approvals and going back and forth. And it really takes a lot of time. It isn't like just picking up the phone and recording a greeting, boom, you're done. So I really want to break this. They are not the same. And I'm not asking you to sell on-hold messages. There are three types of recordings that Advantage IVR can do for you. And the first one is greetings. And I'm going to go through the differences. Greetings on the auto attendant are what answer the phone when you're open, answer the phone after hours. The greeting you hear on the voicemail, it kind of guides you through. It's the press 1 for this, press 2 for that, this kind of thing. There are also system prompts. Now, although I want to tackle this one day and hopefully get it changed, right now, NetSapiens has another person's voice that has recorded the internal system prompts within the NetSapiens switch, if that's the right vernacular. And that guides you, it'll say like transferring now, or whatever it is. You can redo those. Those are customizable. So you can make it look like the left hand does know what the right hand is doing. You can create customized greetings on the auto attendant. You can customize the system prompts, all the same voice. And if you want to, if your clients want on-hold messages, we do that. Now, I'm not trying to disparage on-hold messages or say that they're garbage, because they're not. But I just don't think that it's, I'm not asking you to sell it. And on-hold messages are what people hear once the call has actually been answered and then physically placed on hold. And then on-hold messages always have music behind it. The auto attendants and the system prompts are what we call a dry bed. There's no music, on hold with music. Does that make sense, Andy?
Totally does, Donna.
Okay, awesome. Some of you might be thinking, but Donna, wait a minute, I've heard all these studies, I've heard all these stats about how great this is and how much it works. Yes, you have. Now I want to be the Oz and pull back the curtain, and we're going to talk about the truth about these stats. The first thing I want you to know is all the stats you've ever heard about are for on-hold messages. They're not for auto attendant greetings. Not yet. We don't have the metrics in place to be able to measure. I'm hoping that that will change one day. If you were to Google right now, on-hold message results, on-hold message, vocabulary is escaping me now, but if you Googled on hold survey, on hold results, things like this, you're going to get search results with numbers like 74% of people say that it's great by AT&T. 98% of people from inbound say that they experienced da 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 da, and that will list all those companies that I just listed there with a percentage, and it just sounds viable and legit because it gives a percentage and quotes a famous company. But you want to know the truth? So they're garbage. Nobody can source these. I told you that I started in the on-hold industry in 2006. I worked for a small company in Canby, Oregon, from 2006 to 2012. My boss would send me to the OMA conventions around the country, OMA, On-Hold Messaging Association. So I knew the movers and the shakers, all the owners of these companies in this industry. And we all would sit around and talk about it. Nobody knew where these stats or studies came from. Nobody could verify them. Nobody could vet them out. And we all would kind of laugh about it. We all used them in our proposals, no presentations, but we didn't know if they were true. And we all just kind of decided that somebody somewhere along the line made them up because you can't source them. They're not, it's just not there. So I stopped doing that when I realized that that was the truth, because I couldn't in good conscience put forth data that I couldn't substantiate. So anyway, just me, I stopped using it. Now there is one legit study out there. It was commissioned by OMA back in 2012. They did a study of 1,555 businesses in March and April of 2012. And they got a lot of great results to prove what they wanted it to prove. But again, I'm not asking you to sell on-hold messages. I just wanted you to be informed. But I want you to think about this. 2012, that's 8 years ago. How much has technology changed the way that we do business and the way things work? How much has technology changed call flow? I want to show you why I don't think personally, now we do on-hold messages, and if your clients want them, we do it. But I really personally don't believe that the on-hold is a viable subscription model anymore. And so I don't focus on it. I focus on auto attendance. That's where the opportunity is in my brain. And the reason is,
Donna, why don't you talk a little bit about why you've decided to focus on auto attendance? Because a lot of the other stuff, the prompts and everything else, layers in after it. And when we were talking, getting ready for the webinar last week, we really started to drill down on the whole idea of the AAs, the auto attendants.
yes. Oh, I believe that it's because it is that first impression. I have a flyer we'll see later on in the presentation. My whole sales career, I've been groomed, I think, to do this for this divine convergence moment. I started out selling photocopiers back in 1981, so that's a little bit ago. I was a commissioned sales rep, and I was hoofing it. You know, I'd put on my high heels and my suit and go out hoofing it through business parks, walking indoors. And back in that day, businesses had a receptionist, and they would all, you know, they'd sit there, and the receptionist was really important because it set the tone. And owners of companies would always, you know, be very diligent in hiring the right representative, like you were very diligent in hiring Emily. She represents you and SkySwitch very well. Back in that day, the receptionist did that, both visually and auditory, because the receptionist answered the switchboard. They took care of all the calls. And so to me, and this was just this real experience, I walked into this one business park one day and walked into the business, and the lady had a nameplate on her desk. You know, they have the fancy nameplate, says president or whatever. Her nameplate said Director of First Impressions. And that stuck with me. It stuck with me to this very day. I can see it just like I was in there yesterday. And that is so true. The receptionist used to be the Director of First Impressions. Today, it's the auto attendant. And so the auto attendant is just as important as the receptionist was back then, but today. And so that's why I care, because I've spent my whole career in marketing in one way or the other, in sales and marketing. And I know the value of impressions. I know the value of image and brand. My company name, my legal corporate name is Voice Imaging LLC. And so I really do think that a voice does create and sustain an image. So that's why I'm here. I hope that was well said. Did that answer your question, Andy?
Sure. Talk a little bit though about things like call routing and and voicemail to email and all the things that are changing because people just don't go on hold anymore. I mean,
They don't.
I think of my own, I think of my own calling. I have to call someone, and as soon as they say, well, you can get a call back in 12 minutes, I opt for that. I don't sit on hold because I don't know if the 12 minutes is real.
Exactly. It's probably just a greeting that somebody put in there. But no, that's why I really kind of think that on hold isn't the viable subscription model anymore for a business opportunity, because auto attendance and call routing, it sends people directly to cell phones. And then a cell phone, it just sends it directly to your voicemail. We have, yes, our office phone number, but we have direct dial. If you're on the phone, the direct dial, what? It goes right to your voicemail. So the opportunities to be able to hold are being taken away by effective call routing. And so I don't know, it's pretty simple in my brain, but for me, I think about when was the last time I was on hold? And it was when I had to call Comcast, when they just absolutely did something nightmarish. But so there is a need for hold. You know, some businesses have it, which is why if your customers want it, I can do it. Oops.
Right.
It's not
Now,
turning. There we go. So Andy, this is the connection that I want all of our resellers to make, is that there is a viable model for a subscription service in which you can make money, and it's with your VoIP business phone, and it's with professionally recorded auto attendant greetings. So here's the opportunity. Your phone service with my professionally recorded greetings together is the new Reese's. You have a lot of
Donna,
opportunity.
the whole idea,
Oh, sure.
the whole idea here is, I think resellers need to understand that there's money to be made, and there's lots of money to be made, especially now where it's important for businesses to provide frontline information as soon as someone calls them. Right now in the COVID-19 situation, and even more in the future, people want it now. There's this whole microwave Pop-Tart minute rice generation that was started years ago with FedEx, where they said when you positively absolutely need it overnight. Well, now when somebody calls a business, they want answers. They don't just want voice jail. How are you addressing that?
Exactly. We are addressing that by the way we are scripting the greetings. We are getting right to the point. And actually, I have to credit. I had seen this and I was working there, but who really brought it into focus for me was Brandon Clark from Telogix. He sent me a script one day, and I could just tell he got it. He had really seen something, and so I just sort of took what he did and started putting it in with everybody else, and it was just getting right to the point. You know, you used to say in 35 words what we do now in sales. Well, yeah, thanks for calling Telogix. Let's get started. Sales, 1. Technical support, 2. I don't have a script in front of me, but you know what I mean? So we really are addressing what the need in the culture is, that quick, to the point, boom, boom, boom. And all these, the greetings, the slide I have up right now, these are all the opportunities you have. A day greeting, at the after hours greeting. Some company put their directions on there, different departmental greetings. I have one client, they do holiday closures, inclement weather closures, and also we talked about the system prompts. Those are the internally recorded greetings right now in somebody else's voice on the NetSapiens switch, but they are customizable. You can drop in a file, and then I just kind of like the whole idea of the voice continuity. It really does sound like a manufactured, on purpose, thought out way to create an image and to keep the call flow going. So if this is okay right now, I'd kind of like to bring in our guest panelist. Are you okay for the birthday guy, Bob? Happy birthday. Is it okay to bring in Bob now, Andy?
Sure, why not?
Hello, how are you doing, Renee or Donna?
Hey,
And,
Bob, thank you for coming on your birthday.
Not a problem, not a problem. I wanted to talk about an experience I had with a customer. There's a customer that I've had for probably a year, and they just had the standard auto attendant greeting that, you know, that as we always do, we go in there and and either we record the greeting for them, or we find someone usually in the back room who doesn't want to record the greeting, but somehow gets forced into doing it. And this, we just out of the clear blue, I decided to give him a professional recorded greeting. And it was like a week later, he called me and says, "I got a referral for you. You know, one of the companies I use all the time, a resource for me, has called, wants to talk to you about upgrading their phone system." And so I went out and met with this other company, and they had a voice over IP product from a national company, and they had auto attendants, and they had apps, and they had all the features and bells and whistles that we can offer, but they don't know that when they call in. And this isn't a first impression. It's more than just a first impression. I mean, this customer called their customer or their client all the time, and for over a year they had been calling them, and it was not until we upgraded their greeting that they were really impressed with it. And they don't know why they're impressed. You know, they don't say, "Wow, you have geo-redundant servers and you have all this." They don't care about that. It just sounds polished. It sounds like a very professional system. And so we were able to sell them a new system because of the voice greeting. So,
Bob,
yes.
that really blessed me that you told me that she just kind of inherently thought, "Oh my goodness, it sounds better, then it must be better." So
Right. I mean, that's what they see, and the opposite of that is true too. How many times have we recorded or had a customer record a mediocre greeting or a bad greeting, and we just live with it because we know it's not going to get any better with them. They talk too fast. Their voice is screechy or whatever it is, and we just say, well, it's their company. If they want to have it, let them have it. And we do that. And then we don't know how many times that someone's called in and said to them, who does your phone system? They're horrible. And so it's just the opposite of that, where you could actually lose business because of a poor recording. So really, that was my 2 cents.
Bob, since you did that with Donna, have you been able to successfully add other customers? And what are some of the techniques you've used to convince your customers to go professional?
I mean, I just tell them, first of all, we have that greeting on our system. So I let them call into our auto attendant, they listen to it, and they can hear the sound of it. It's a higher quality. First of all, it's a pleasant voice. The greeting is concise. And it's recorded in a studio, so the audio quality is excellent. So I let them hear it themselves, and the pricing is really good. So there's really no reason for them not to do that.
Okay.
Thank
We
you,
also
Bob.
have Jim Kubicek with us. I want to get some impressions from Jim on, as a reseller, why don't you tell us what your experience has been, not only working with Donna, but with IVR sales in general?
Yeah, sure. Hi, Ed. Appreciate having me on. Jim Kubicek with Phone One. We're headquartered in Atlanta. And anyway, we've been doing voice over IP since 2008, and doing professional voiceover since probably 2011. We realized early on that my voice sounds okay to some people, but I hate it. So I don't want to call into somebody's system to hear my voice. So we started using voiceovers a long time ago. Started with Fiverr and some other places till we actually got in and were able to vet some nice services. We did try the subscription service for the music on hold. Some people went for it. Most people did not because they were expensive, considering what they wanted. But one of the things that I have learned over the years is, in order to get somebody really interested in voiceover, when they sign up with me, I give them one free recording from Donna. And that's a big hit. Sometimes the smaller shops, just like Bob was saying, they won't do it. They'll record their own. I've even had one shop that recorded over Donna's. I was so mad, but I couldn't tell them. But voiceover has been an opportunity for me to create an entirely new revenue stream. I'm not saying it's huge, but for me,
It is a revenue stream, but it is also a feature that is a benefit to businesses. So like Bob was saying, you can tell these businesses all these nice features and throw these bells and whistles at them, but I don't sell the features, I sell the benefits. So VoiceOver has a huge benefit in many places. One of the things that I do with VoiceOver also is I partner with marketing companies, digital marketing companies, and they come to me for VoiceOver as well for their clients that aren't even mine. That way, we've got a whole different area that we're approaching. As a matter of fact, the OBGYN clinic was mine. They're on a contract with another company that specializes in OBGYN clinics, and they're the ones that recorded that message. So gave them those messages, absolutely free. Everything's great. They've even had positive comments from their clients they're calling in about the change in the messages and how they appreciate that it's a female voice now, not a male voice at an OBGYN clinic. So guess where they're coming in 2 years when their contract's up?
Yay!
So VoiceOver for me has been huge. Yes, sir.
I have a question for you.
Yes, sir.
How often are your customers coming back to you and saying, I think I need some new messages? Is it a quarterly thing, every 6 months, once a year? What are you seeing in your business of how frequent they want fresh messages?
Right now, Donna, it's what, weekly?
Yeah, this COVID thing has been,
Yeah.
I know this is different, but COVID is changing everything.
It
I
is.
stand in my booth and sometimes just want to cry as I watch the degression, if you will. You know, we're closing till now we're closing till here. And just like, oh my gosh, it's hard. But
Yes.
So right now, people are changing all the time.
Yeah, in the norm, yeah, I would say I've got clients changing quarterly because we'll go back to them as part of our VoiceOver stream, and we'll say, hey, got a new season coming up. Would you like to re-record anything? So we have a proactive campaign with all of our people that have professional voiceover that goes back out and continues to touch on them at the change of the season. So we hit them at least quarterly, and there's a few of them that do it monthly, you know, depending on what they're doing and who they have for their marketing company as well.
That sounds like being proactive and reaching out to your reseller base, or to your customer base as a reseller is what's driving your ability to get this incremental revenue, Jim. I'm going to turn it over to Chip Wolf. Chip, you've been working with Donna off and on for a few years. How's it been for you, and what are some real good examples that other resellers, part of the SkySwitch universe, can take advantage of?
I think for us, I mean, one of the things that it really gave us the ability to do was go for what we're trying to accomplish, which is a white glove VoIP experience. You know, we've got a bunch of guys in the local area, they're IT companies that are selling VoIP. We don't just want to be another one of them. So we sat around and really we decided that we were just going to do it better. And so kind of like Bob and Jim, we're giving them as part of the package, you know, greetings from Donna, whether it's the AAs or some specific messages that they want. You know, she freed us up during the COVID. We offered every one of our clients, whether they were a VoIP client or not, you know, a free COVID message. And I think at this count, we were probably in the 30 or 40 range on that, weren't we, Donna?
You are.
You know, so, and our approach is that when this is all over, we're going to promote to the clients that, look, continue to use the AA as a mechanism for first touch. And one of the nice things for us is that it's a bit of guilt by association. You know, if the caller is impressed, you know, kind of like Jim said, you know, they want to know how and where. And we've picked up some new clients since we've started using the AAs with Donna and using it more as a marketing first touch tool. So for us, it's a godsend. I mean, we no longer have to use the tech. We're not searching for the best voice. We've got the best voice. And, you know, it is another revenue stream. It's not giant yet. We're creating packages, whether those are going to be holiday related. We've got some specific verticals we're in, insurance. You know, they run promos. Life insurance guys are doing that. There's just really a lot of opportunity for us to take it out there and push it. And we couldn't be more excited because I think that we're not quite at the 150% markup rate, but I think we're in the low 100s, 110, 115. So we couldn't be more excited about what we've done with Donna and where we're headed with her.
So Chip, if you had to offer your fellow resellers who are listening in to the webinar here today one technique to close a customer on getting rid of their old and in with the Donna, what's the way to go?
Honestly, we've actually used a couple of our other clients to do that. The professional polish, it's the first impression, and we really take it from the marketing standpoint. I think to your part, Andy, really message on hold for us. We've got one client that uses it, and we've taken the approach that, look, guys, you're touching your client every time they call. What do you want them to see? And again, guilt by association. We look great because of it, and honestly, it's baffling that we used the tech before. I hate to say that, but the resellers, the stream, the MRR, it's such an ecosystem for us that it's end to end. I mean, I hate to stammer and stutter with it, but we're excited.
It's okay. What I'm hearing is more revenue, more recurring revenue.
Absolutely.
Use your examples of your customers to sell other customers, and most importantly, make sure your voice prompts, your auto attendant and your messages are all crafted, written, and produced by Donna. And by the way, Donna's not the only voice. Donna can source other voices to mix it up a little bit, to go from one voice to another in order to provide variety and so people don't get wear out. One of the biggest things with any kind of message, like a commercial, you can run it so long, but you may wear out. And here's a little tip. When you're tired of it as the business owner, don't think your customers are. And that's a big thing with all of this auto attendance and on hold messages. Don't think your message is tired if it's working, because you've been living with it since before Donna spoke the first word of it, or any voiceover actor or actress. That's called wear out. And often owners will wear out long before their audience. So I think we've got 3 great examples from Bob, Jim, and Chip. And obviously, one part of everything we do at SkySwitch is the universe. Our network of resellers loves to help one another out. So don't hesitate to reach out to your fellow resellers to find out how they're making something work. Donna, you've got some other resellers who've been real happy with it. Who are they?
Oh my goodness. Mike and Ethan Farlow at Comtech, Justin Best at Northwest Technologies Group. Oh my goodness, I should have my list in front of me. I've got several. Joran Carlson at Unicom, Ben Crawley from New Era Network, John Adams from Adamscom, Jason Lord from Paragon VoIP, Justo Torres from New Call Enterprises. Okay, I'm sorry. I know I have a whole bunch. I should pull out my customer list. There's more.
Well, Donna, the best thing is you've got references. So if a reseller doesn't know somebody who's already using it, you can supply them those references, and they can get tips and tricks on how to sell it, some examples of the customers who are using it. And that's the whole purpose of having a reseller network, so that they can take advantage of voiceover as a service. Why don't you talk about the 3 types of services that are really being offered?
I will do that. Okay, let me get up to where we need to be here. The one-off auto attendant greetings, that's just, you want to buy a day greeting and a night greeting, boom, okay, that's what we do. We don't require you to sign any contract. There's no commitment. There's just, you need it, you get it, you're done. Now we're offering this subscription service, the Voiceover as a Service by Advantage IVR, which does have an annual agreement attached to it, but we give you really great pricing for that. And of course, if your clients want it, the on-hold messages. So we offer those 3. I'm not asking you again to sell on-hold messages, so don't get wigged out by that. I'm only going to ask you to look at the auto attendant greetings and voice prompts. The one-off pricing, again, that's just the one-off greeting. They're $50 each for any voice talent. And we also have foreign languages. Currently on my site, obviously the one that gets used the most is Spanish. We're doing a lot of Justo Torres, he's in the Florida area. He's doing a lot of things for Feeding South Florida. Right now, there's people waiting in food lines. That hasn't hit Oregon yet, so my brain can't even wrap around it. But I've done, I don't know, 2 or 3 greetings already in English and in Spanish to help the residents of Florida understand about these food lines and what they need to do. So the greetings are so important because they're calling, they're afraid, they're upset, they're whatever it is they're doing. And these greetings are guiding them in a very succinct, clear way on what to do. So I'm just excited that we get to be a part of helping people right now. So all that to say, I have foreign language as well. Now this voiceover as a service, the pricing for that, it's an auto attendant greeting package. It's an annual agreement, and you agree to buy 10 greetings a month at $200 a month. So that makes it $20 a greeting. So I'm giving you a huge discount from $50 a greeting down to $20 a greeting. And then if you want to use the DSRP, thank you, Andy, I think I'm going to coin that, the Donna suggested retail price of $50 a greeting, because I can live with that. I'm kind of the biggest wimp that there is. I need to get a little more backbone with pricing and such. But if I can live with $50 a greeting, then you can certainly live with it. It is fair market value. You can go to bed feeling good about yourself at $50 a greeting. Oh, and that if you do that, it's 150% return on investment. Now, here's my disclaimer again. This is what I'm asking you to sell: the one-off greetings for auto attendant, or if you want to, the subscription service. And again, I'm not asking to sell on hold. And I don't mean to be, I'm not treating you like you're third graders or you're stupid. I don't think that. I have just perceived over 20 years that people have this confusion that auto attendant greetings and on hold are the same, and they're not. They're different. So I'm just hitting it. I'm an anal communicator, hopefully with articulation. That's what I'm trying to do. We are proud to offer the on hold. I'm not asking you to sell it. Just in case your clients do want it, I wanted to throw this in here. We do pricing of on hold a little bit different, 75 cents per minute. And includes the script writing, which includes the research to figure out what to write. And we come from a marketing background. So I care about the scripting of these messages. I want to make sure it's being effective and will do the job. Get you one voice talent, one music selection, of course, the mixing and production. And we do give a 20% discount if they will get a 3-minute program that they agree to change quarterly. We'll give that discount there. That's the
Donna, you said 75 cents per minute, or did you mean $75? Thank you.
$75 a minute. That includes all that different, all the different items. And I want to tell you, we are not just going to throw you out there and say, okay, here you go, go sell this now. We're going to give you some sales tools. I've created these, I'm calling them my Fab 5 flyers. They're just an aid in getting the idea across of why it's important to have a professional voiceover on their auto attendant greetings and their prompts. The first one would be one that you could put in the package that you give them after they've agreed. They've signed the bottom line, and then you give them that cutover day package. Congratulations, you've got this new phone system. Who's going to voice the auto attendant? And it just goes through. I don't need to go through the whole thing. I think we're running out of time. We also have a flyer. Remember, I told you the story about the Director of First Impressions nameplate? I'm not kidding. That has stuck with me. And so I made a flyer about it. Yesterday, it used to be the receptionist. Today, it's the auto attendant. So that flyer, I think, is really impactful. To me, I love comedy. I think comedy sells. And so Pierre, he thinks he's a guard dog. Do you think so? Well, no, but the professional voice actors at Advantage RVR, we know we're professional voice actors, and so do our agents and our peers. I mean, Pierre can think he's a guard dog all day long, just like, the best voice at the staff can think they're good, but are they? Anyway, I just think that's kind of a funny way to do it. And then this luxury car, buying a phone system without the greetings professionally voiced is like getting a luxury car without tires. It just doesn't make sense. And I called it the Fabulous 5, and you'll have to contact me to see the 5th. It's going to be a secret. And if you want to get more info, you can email me. And of course, as Andy told you, we've got some prizes going on. And don't forget about your free consultation. Reach out to me at donna@advantageivr.com, or you can call or text me at the number there. And because I do have SkySwitch phone service myself, I want to thank Lewis from Oregon Phone Systems. He is my VoIP guy because he's right here local. And anyway, Andy, any other questions? Thank you for today.
Well, we're going to get to the Q&A, but Donna, we've got the prizes where everybody gets a free consultation with a special COVID-19 message from Donna that they can use on their IVR and their auto attendant mode. And we've also got the complete Donna makeover from soup to nuts. Donna will remake your entire audio platform, give you consultation on scripts. So that's going to go to one lucky winner. So with that in mind, I'm going to remind everybody that it's time for Q&A. So if you haven't asked questions, now the time is. Our first question comes from Scott Jones. Donna, Scott wants to know, how long does it take to get your auto attendant greetings turned around?
It depends on when you start the clock. If you start the clock on script creation, then it's really kind of up to you on how long you take to approve it, and going back and forth with massaging it out, getting it just right. So that could be anywhere from a day to, I've had people take a month, to get things. But once the script is dialed in and you know what it is and you send me the script, I say 24 to 48 hours. Typically it'll be 24, but ask any one of the 3 people that came on, have I turned them same day? You better believe it. And I will tell you this, the COVID greetings, those go to the front of the pack. That's involving somebody, shuttering their business, changing things. To me, that's a big stink dog deal. And so I go into the booth and I cut it, and it will be there within hours. Mike Reynolds from Level 1 Telecom in Canada, we've just been going through some things, and he sent me some COVID messages for one of his clients, Vince's Market. And I stood in the booth, and this is probably TMI, but I started crying. I couldn't stop crying, so I couldn't voice it. So I'm like, he's waiting for these greetings. But because he's telling me these stories, every script that comes in my booth is a story to me, and it's connected to people and lives. And so Vince's Market is very community oriented, and they have a hospital there, and we all know what's going on in our hospitals and how these people are overworked and they're scared, and they're living in their trailers in their driveway because they don't want to infect their kids and their families. And so the people of Mike's city, 1.5 miles long of cars and trucks, got in front. All the doctors and nurses that could come out stood and waved to the people, and the people all drove around, and they're just honking and giving them praise and thanking them. And so Vince's Market is doing a special campaign to their healthcare workers. So anyway, I'm in my booth yesterday, wanting to turn this for Mike in a minute, and I'm bawling my eyes out because this whole image is in my head. But anyway, I bring that to the table too. I'm a real person, and I understand the life that is behind every script that comes in my booth. So if that makes any difference to you, that is the advantage IVR difference too. I think I went way off base, Andy, and I apologize for that.
That's okay. We have another set of questions from Robert Harney. He wants to know, do you get creative and have fun with your auto attendant messages, or is it just plain and to the point? And then how do you get to that point of where you can have fun with it as a producer, voiceover artist, etc.? And his last part of the question is, and this is something which I don't think we touched on, Donna, but it was really apropos. Do you create the scripts and write them from scratch for people who need that kind of help? Or do you expect them to come fully ready to hand you over, so all you have to do is record?
I have had both. I recognize and realize that there's a big aversion to writing the scripts. A lot of times people sit there and it's a blank page and you're like, oh, what do I do now? So I will absolutely come alongside and help and hold your hand. I've got script templates. I've done so many scripts. I've read so many scripts. I feel like I could do it in my sleep. So that is the easy part. And do we do things to get creative and funny? Absolutely. And I love it. And the indicator to me is the client that will let me do it. The client that's their personality, and the client that has, well, as a matter of fact, Lewis from Oregon Phone Systems, he brought me Halsey Import Auto. And so this is an auto parts store. They have a specialty with Volkswagen and different European models. And so they have relationships with their people. It tends to be the same people calling all the time because they're refurbishing this or that. And so they gave me permission to just go all out. And so we wrote some good one-liners in there. We wrote just some funny stuff. So I can be as creative and off the wall as you will give me permission to do, and that your clients can tolerate.
Of course. Justin DePopolo says, how much do the resellers sell each auto attendant greeting for? In the sense of, do you know what their price is under the Donna suggested retail price model?
You mean that? Well, I know that Chip, I don't think Chip is selling it for $50 each. I think some are giving it away at cost. Some are eating the cost. And I think some are doing it at 50. I'm not positive if anybody's doing it over 50, but I know that my competitors do it over 50. So you could do it with good conscience. I think people are all kind of all over the board on where they are. I'm just coming in with my Donna suggested retail price because I know that it's fair and I know that you can go to sleep at night charging your clients that. And I know that's not a very good answer, but it's the best I've got.
What it sounds like is price it so what the market will bear, and don't go into every customer at the same price. And sometimes give it away because as a loss leader, it may be what gets you the business versus the other guy who doesn't have a Donna. Now, Bob Bascom asked us a question. Will you be recording the Net Sapiens prompts that they can purchase?
I want to. I've been talking to different people within SkySwitch to find out the right connections for me. And I haven't been able to successfully navigate that, but Andy, if you can help me, I would love to do that.
Okay, Bob, we'll see what we can do. Right now, they are not available because what Don is saying is that's locked into the Net Sapiens switch side of the fence. And we need to talk with them about getting, it's probably an API call, but we'll see. With that, I'm going to say, Donna, you've been great as always. Just like when you were at Vectors last October, we really enjoyed your time there. We want to remind everybody that the recording will be sent out to all registrants. It'll be posted to the SkySwitch website, and we'll be in touch with the winners or the winner of the Extreme Reseller Makeover sometime later today. Now, if you enjoyed this week's webinar, and this one was really good because it touches on how you can make more money beyond simply selling telecom. You're selling services that support your telecom business. We're going to have another webinar next week. And our next webinar is going to be with Jabra, and they're going to be talking about work from anywhere solutions. So if you attend that webinar, you might win a Jabra work from home pack, which includes the Jabra Evolve 56 wireless headset and a Jabra portable speakerphone, all packaged in a high quality pack with various office supply items. So that'll be next week, the Work from Anywhere Solutions webinar with our good friends from Jabra. I want to thank Donna. I want to thank all of our guests who joined us, all of our resellers who tuned in this week to listen to Donna's tips on how to sell IVR and auto attendant functionality. And most of all, thank you for being part of the SkySwitch universe and being part of our community. I'm Andy Abramson. A big thanks to Emily Vasquez for her excellent prep and production this week. And to everybody, being that COVID-19 is still out there, stay safe, stay inside, and stay successful.